Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Vanstone, and we're doing an interview for our upcoming emo night, Saturday, November 8th, 2025, at the Salisbury Center in Manassas, Virginia. Doors at 7, show at 8. We have Riot, a Paramore tribute, a emotional support, emo and pop punk covers, and Dakota Bates playing acoustic. Tonight we'll be speaking with emotional support out of Maryland. Hey, guys. Great to meet you. Would you guys mind introducing yourselves?
Hey guys, we're Emotional Support, and we're from Baltimore, Maryland. We're going to be at the Salisbury Center on November 8th in Manassas, Virginia, and we're looking forward to hanging out with you guys and putting on an amazing hour, 55 minutes of pure emo and punk rock goodness.
Come check us out.
Sure. Quick cameo. I'm Derek. I play lead guitar and sometimes sing.
I'm Matt. I play rhythm guitar.
I'm Keith. I'm the bass player and backing vocals.
Jerry. I'm the drummer.
And off screen where he should be. I'm Chad. I sing.
How long have you guys been a band?
We started the band in March. Since that's when we all got together, yeah. So Jerry and Keith, I don't want to speak for them. So they've been together for a long time playing music and stuff. And then they got Derek, and then they posted a looking for a singer on Craigslist, which is terrifying. But I went and I tried out, and then we got Matt, and so yeah, that was all in March. So not very long.
Chad, I think you had mentioned that some of you guys have played in other bands in the DMV area in years past. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, let's circle around.
Yeah. So I was in a pop punk band for many years called Split 5 here in Baltimore, Maryland. We were a band for about 12 years, released 3 different albums.
I was in Split 5 for a little bit.
I was in a cover band for more like 90s alternative and radio rock, as I would call it, out of Annapolis. First, we were called BRV, Bar Rock Band. And then we changed to Fresh Pint, and then eventually changed to This Is Growing Up. And we were together for about 2.5 years.
Which is funny because Matt's the only one in the band that really doesn't drink. So Fresh Pint. Yeah, cool.
Cool. I was in a party rock band way back in like 2006 called Perfect Excuse. And they morphed into a band called, what was it, Alter Ego. And it was mostly like party rock covers. I eventually like settled down, got married, and then started playing in churches for like 10 plus years. And then I became like a hired gun playing at churches. So it was really odd when these guys called me up and be like, let's get together and jam. I'm like, I just do church stuff now, guys.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Now he's dropping F-bombs and drinking. And I was in a band called Silent Film from like 2003 to 2008-ish, sometime around there. We did a bunch of original pop punk emo stuff, Jimmy Eat World, that kind of stuff, released 2 or 3 albums, and then broke up, and I lost the fire in my eyes, disappeared, and now it's back with cover songs.
Anything particular in your set, if you just want to speak to like why you picked that song and what you enjoy about playing it?
Yeah, I think I can speak to the starting line because the starting line takes me back to specifically we played Best of Me. It takes me back to the early days of pop punk when I was going to church shows and stuff like that. Is one of those songs. There's a part in the song where it kind of calms down. I remember kids sitting Indian style, right, on the floor kind of singing it, and I thought it was really cool.
It's crisscross applesauce now.
Yeah. Crisscross applesauce now apparently. But I just thought that was really cool. So this was the first band I ever played that in. And, you know, it's pretty nostalgic for me and definitely something that I really enjoy playing. So,
yeah, it was one of the first ones that I played with the band when I tried out. And so it like kind of clicked and felt good. And it's a fun one to play. And the kids seem to dig it. And that's what we go for. We want the songs the kids are going to dig.
Yeah, and then obviously like Blink-182. Like, who doesn't love Blink-182, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to pick which Blink-182 song we're going to do in a song because we've got 3 or 4 that we play in our sets now. So throw one in there.
And there's like 10 of them on the list that we want to learn. I mean, it's just one of those bands you have to play if you're playing this kind of music, but it's just amazing music. So
we also grew up with it, like all of us did.
Now, are any of the songs on this set list songs that are kind of what initially made you want to pick up an instrument and learn when you were younger?
I'm going to be honest. I was a metalhead. Well, if you want to call Metallica metal. So that's what I really, I mean, it's in their name, but like that's kind of what made me pick up the guitar. And I really,
me too.
that
that Nirvana, but
I didn't get into pop punk or emo until like the early 2000s when it really started to come out. And our drummer right here, Jerry, we've been friends for a long time. He was the one that kind of got me into it. I bought an MXPX album, a live album. And that's when I figured out I could play and sing at the same time. Terrible singer, by the way. But that was kind of the motivation. And since then, like literally all I listen to now is like pop punk and emo. It's pretty crazy. It's something that I've just truly embraced. So.
Yeah, I stopped listening to new music in 2006. So something new comes out, and somebody's like, "Have you heard?" Probably not.
I think we all did. There was a song on set list that came out in 2007 that like none of us heard. Like it was like a year after. We're like, "What's Mayday Parade?"
Yeah,
like we had no idea. And then,
well, a lot of these songs I'm hearing for the first time in this band because I was in the 2000s. I was in the metalcore scene. You know, like a lot of this stuff I'm just getting into. So.
You're still that.
You
guy.
branch out a lot more than any of us. Yeah, I'll talk about Mayday Parade, I guess. So that's one that, like we were just saying, we didn't really know them when we first started playing in this band. We're kind of 2006 and before. They're a little bit more recent of a band, but I started playing. I do an acoustic thing called Acoustic at the Disco, where I play out at bars and I do an emo songs, but all acoustic by myself. And that's how I kind of got started back into playing music after Silent Film broke up. And people would always ask me to play Mayday Parade. You got to play Mayday Parade. You got to play Mayday Parade. And I didn't know any of it. So I kind of like started listening to the emo project on Sirius XM and asking what songs we should learn. And then I heard and I was like, yeah, this is a banger. I got to learn this one. And so like, that's how I kind of learned it and kind of brought it to these guys. Like, hey, this is one that like we might not really know because we're old farts with gray in our beards, but the kids love this song. And like, I get requested like almost every show I play. And so that's kind of how we added that to the set. And now I just saw them in Vegas this weekend. I was in When We Were Young, and it was they were so good live. And that was a really good song. So that was kind of why we threw that in there.
Yeah. And I can speak to Panic at the Disco. I mean, Panic at the Disco, prior to this band, I was in a band called Hey Girl Hey, and we tributed Panic at the Disco, and we did it for about 4 years, and it was so much fun to the point that I'll fangirl a little bit. I actually have Brendan Urie's half sleeve on my arm right here, which you guys will see at the show. But I liked him so much. He's kind of my Michael Jackson because he's such a performer and he can play every instrument. I compare him to, like I said, Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, and all that. I didn't like Panic prior to actually tributing them. But I gained such a respect for them, and hence the reason I brought that song. We all kind of bring our own songs here to the band, so for different reasons. You guys have anything you want to speak to?
My Chemical Romance, because like I was in the Air Force, and I remember being stationed overseas in Germany when 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge came out, and I didn't know what they sounded like because when you're overseas, then like. My hands need to go down. I'm sorry. They're like whispering at me.
It's like Ricky Bobby.
I know. Opposite. But like basically, like you were just kind of heard whatever was on the Armed Forces Radio Network. So like I had to go and seek out different kinds of bands of like that pop punk and emo genre. So like I discovered these guys in alternative press. I listened to that album front to back, and I think I was the only person on Rammstein Air Base for like a 2-year period that even heard of these guys. So by the time I went back to the States, I know I didn't think they were that big. And like I remember seeing like, you know, going to a Arundel Mills Mall and seeing some 7-8-year-old kid wearing a My Chem shirt, and I was just blown away. I'm like, there's no way these guys are that popular. And you walk into a Hot Topic, it's like, Jesus, these guys are everywhere.
Derek still shops at Hot Topic, by the way.
I did. Well, I have a 16-year-old daughter.
For himself.
Yeah, I mean, she's the excuse.
In the back room at Hot Topic.
She's the excuse.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, sure. Motion City's like my favorite band. Maybe top 3 bands for me. And we've got a big surprise during that set that we kind of like had like been tossing around and trying to find a good place for it. And so you'll see it during the set, but that's a really great song. And they're kind of more of an obscure band, so we don't really get to play that at every show. A lot of bar shows aren't going to know Motion City, but like when we get to play emo shows, we get to bust it out, and it's a really, really, really fun one. So get ready for that one. That's a good one.
And then All Time Low. I mean, we're from Baltimore. I mean, they're a Baltimore band, and a lot of us saw them back in the day. I mean, we saw them back in the day in churches before they got big and got signed. I mean, I've actually seen Chad's hung out with Alex from All Time Low.
Yeah, we the first All Time, well, not the second, I think it's the second one, Put Up or Shut Up, that album was recorded in my backyard. when I was in silent film, there was a kid named Paul Levitt who recorded a lot of the local bands in the area, and All Time Low was recording with him, and they kind of ran out of studio time and needed to finish their vocals. So Alex actually came in my backyard and did all the vocals with my singer. So if you look at the liner notes, what's it called? The Girls Are Straight Up Hustler is a song on that album. And in the liner notes, you'll see Matt Parsons singing backup vocals, and he would work with Alex on all of those things. So yeah, that's a big Baltimore. They're Baltimore royalty. Same with Good Charlotte.
I mean, 303 was so far out of my wheelhouse, but like what we did with it, it's fun to play. And
yeah, that's a straight
another little surprise in that one too.
Yeah, it's a straight banger. That was a lot of fun to play.
I had asked you to name 3 albums for me that you thought were. I was kind of describing them as CD visor albums. I know in the early 2000s when we were all teenagers and before, people might have had a Sidekick, but people didn't have an iPhone yet. Kind of that era where you might have a CD changer, a single CD in your car, but a lot of like the experience of getting to know somebody was having that CD visor above the driver's seat, and what 10 CDs do they have in there? So what the question I'd asked you was to give me 3 CDs that you think are like essential to like a emo kid car visor. So the first one you gave me was the Get Up Kids.
Yeah, that was mine. I gave that one. I feel like I've got them tattooed here on my arm. I feel like Something to Write Home About is like the perfect album for somebody who's doesn't know emo at all. Like, here's what you got. It starts with Holiday, which is like pop punk, fast, in your face, and then 10 minutes, and then it slows down with Valentine. It's got like this heartfelt stuff. It's got this emo. The lyrics are ridiculous. It's a perfect no skip, 100% wonderful album. And if somebody was like, hey, what is emo to you? For me, it would be that album. I remember I was driving with my friend in the car to school. We were seniors in high school. And he was like, I want to play you this band. And I was like, oh, who is it? And he's like, Get Up Kids. I was like, what's their song on the radio? He's like, they're not on the radio. I was like, well, then they must not be good. Because the radio is where the good song is, right? Like, is this Korn? Is this The Offspring? Yeah, like, who is this? And he popped it in. And I was walking to my second period class, and I was singing Holiday. I was like, man, what is in my head? Like, this is so good. And I went out and bought it. And I was like, it like opened these doors for me for all of these albums and all these different record labels back in the day that were doing all this cool stuff. And just for me, that album encapsulates all that. And like, they talk top 5 albums or whatever, top 5 bands or whatever. But those guys, for me, we don't have any Get Up Kids in our set list because they are a little obscure for like the party and the bar scene and everything like that. Like, people aren't going to really know the Get Up Kids. But if you're like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this genre which I listen to, it's Something to Write Home About for me. So they can talk about the other ones, but that was mine.
I didn't put one in because I didn't respond in the chat.
Sure. So I have one that is not pulled in. This is kind of off the cuff, but it's funny. These guys were mentioning Hot Topic earlier. And when I was in high school, there was a new Hot Topic in Augusta, Georgia, where I grew up. And I went in, I think my junior or senior year, and I had heard of this thing called emo through Jimmy Eat World, right? And I remember asking one of the guys there, I was like, what is good emo? And they're like, oh man. And they gave me a CD from Saves the Day, Through Being Cool, changed my life. I love that album so much. It's like quintessential early 2000s, very formative for me.
Well, the next one you had sent over to me, Chad, was a Taking Back Sunday record.
Yes.
So I think this was Let Them All Talk or something like that.
Taking Back Sunday.
Oh, Tell All Your Friends?
Tell All Your Friends, yes.
Me too.
That was one that we even just talked about finding something at Hot Topic. I legitimately found that album at Hot Topic. Yeah. It was just like back in the day, I don't know if you remember, but you could go on Hot Topic. I don't know if this is what he was just saying. I was peeing, but they had like listening stations where they had like 4 albums and you could like put headphones on. It was disgusting. Like, I can't imagine post-COVID putting somebody's nasty ears over my ears, but you would like go in and listen to stuff. And it was like, it's got this 2 vocals thing, and it's like heavier than like some pop punk, but there's very minimal screaming. And like, I'm not into the screaming stuff. And so like, it was just like, it really was like, man, this is so cool. And then you find out like all this stuff with like the brand new thing. It was like kind of like the we got Kendrick Lamar and Drake, like that beef, but like in the early 2000s with these like two bands, and they like hate each other with like write songs, and it was just like such a cool thing. And so that for me was another one that I was like, it covers a lot of ground in this genre of like more mellow stuff, heavier stuff, and yeah.
In my top 10 albums would be Enema of the State and Dude Ranch.
Good answer.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I think Jerry, the first like 10 times I ever saw Jerry, he was wearing a Blink-182 shirt.
First 10 times.
But yeah, it's actually been a joke in the band.
And also Korn. So
yeah. It's we have our actual, let me see if I can see this in the video. We have emotional support, and that's taken right from the Enema of the State. We're wearing our own merch. That's how we roll. Merch will be for sale on November 8th in Manassas. We will have merch.
We do have the coolest merch around.
We do have full merch. That's been one of our major things.
Sell out.
Any thoughts on Paramore or Haley Williams' recent solo work?
I haven't really listened to it. I like Paramore, but it's another one of those bands that like kind of after 2008, because I stopped listening to it. For me, I know all the hits because I listen to, basically my car is only listening to Emo Project, so I hear all the hits. But I haven't heard a lot of her new stuff. I did see them in Vegas. I did see Paramore in Vegas the first year of when we were young, and they were really, really good live. They were excellent. But I haven't followed the new stuff. Has anybody else?
Not the new stuff. I mean, but just Paramore in general. Like, you know, once again, it's one of those staples in the emo pop punk area. I mean, everybody knows their stuff. I even liked when they went like mainstream for a while. Like, I think that stuff's like what's it called? Fun, or what is it?
Yeah.
Ain't
it fun? Like that kind of stuff. Even too. Like people are like, this sold out. I'm like, nah, they're still Paramore, and then they come back with another high energy emo banger, and you're like, wow, they really stayed there. And I mean, she's
ridiculous.
Yeah, she's absolutely ridiculous.
Down the scene. So
yeah.
I've always been a fan of their first album. I forget what it's called, but Before Riot.
The one before Riot.
Yeah. All We Know Is Falling.
All We Know Is Falling. I think that, like, you know, something that we're trying to do is, as a band, is provide a really good live experience and show. We see a lot of local bands. We go to a lot of local shows to, you know, we call it homework. It's an opportunity to get out and drink, but also to see what the other bands are doing, see what songs hit, see what songs we might think might hit, and then we see another band do it, and it's like, no, maybe this one isn't for us, kind of thing. But like for us, it's very important to put on a show that, you know, we practice a lot. We went back and we ran through our set today, and we went back and we focus on the time between songs. You know what I mean? The time that bands are sitting around trying to make small talk while everybody's tuning, like to those moments of a set where we can fill that with more music or make sure that there is limited amount of that so that everybody's having a good time the whole time. Because as a band, we're performers first, and we need to make sure that the crowd is being entertained. And if we're sitting there talking and waiting for somebody to tune and trying to banter, and they're getting bored, they're going to the bar, they're checking their, you know, tab out, and they're leaving. You know, for us, it's important to do a good show. And our live show, I think, is something that we really work hard on.
Yep, agreed.
Do you have any advice to peers, people around our age, or a young person, if you are wanting to learn an instrument, and beyond that, if you're wanting to start a band, be it a cover band or original band? Do you have any advice for people getting into playing music?
I have one, and it's never sell your gear. I'm just going to say that I think every person here, we've probably bought 10 sets of gear because you play and you're like, I don't want to play anymore, and you get rid of your gear, and then all of a sudden you buy it again.
Yep.
Keep your gear. Never get rid of it. You're going to play again. I promise you, even in those bad days when you're like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Keep your gear. Do not sell your gear, because you're going to spend so much money if you don't.
Yeah. And don't give up either. 'Cause, I mean, my last band, you know, was over a year ago that we split up, and I went to several auditions, you know, jammed with several different people, and it just, you know, it just didn't work out or whatnot, you know, but I just kept, yeah, well, exactly. But, you know, I just kept pushing. I just kept at it. And then, you know, until I found these guys and we just kind of clicked, and then, you just know. So it's just keep going.
I got nothing.
When I started playing guitar in 7th grade, I had a harmony guitar that my mom bought me from Sears, and I played it for like 3 days, and I hated it, and I threw it under my bed, and I was never going to use it again. And then my friend got a guitar for Christmas or something. He was like, we got to start a band. So I dusted off the harmony, and I was like, this is trash. And just like Keith was saying, you gotta stay with it. You can't give it up. And one thing that I think I did a disservice to myself was, because I listen to pop punk and emo and it's 4 chords and that's it. That's what I learned. And I have so many friends of mine that listen to Metallica and bridge down to all these different genres of music that can shred circles around me. I used to be a guitarist, and they would just, and I'm so upset that I only learned those 4 chords because that's what I needed to do. But those 4 chords sell records and shredding, it takes a little bit longer. So just, don't give up, keep trying. It's awesome.
Don't sell your gear.
Yeah. Being on stage is the best.
And it's never too late. I didn't join my first band until I was 40.
Wow.
I'm 45.
Just aged yourself there.
Yeah.
Well, then if you're between bands or you're not quite ready for one yet, do you have any advice for people just practicing and trying to get better at their instrument by themselves?
Yeah,
Just keep practicing.
Yeah, don't give up.
Yes. I mean, not only give up, but you have to practice. You have to set that time aside every day. Even in this band, I'll come in unprepared. I'll be like, you know what? I got to go home and I got to nail that song. I come in and then I nail it better than that because I'm the best one in the band. So I come in and then I nail it better than anybody. But then like tonight, they all know a song that I don't. So you truly have to practice every day, but you should enjoy it, right? It's fun. You should get excited about it. So
I've only sang for 6 months since March. Like when I joined the band, I was a guitarist, and a friend of mine who told me about this band was like, hey, these guys I found this Craigslist ad, cause I was playing open mics, and he was like, you gotta like try out for these guys. They're like, the ad fits you perfect. And I read it, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I told him, I said, look, I've not been singing very long, but I'll like give it a try. I was just doing like acoustic open mics. And now for me, I'm 43. I don't know how old I am. Once you get over 40, it doesn't matter anymore, right?
Yeah.
But now I find myself practicing a lot. I practice on the treadmill. I practice in the car because I want to make sure that I'm elevated to the spot where these guys have been, because they've been playing for a lot longer. So even 40-something years old, I'm still
he pays attention a lot to what Taylor Swift does, and then he does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put that in there.
I'm trying to date a tight end, but nobody's interested.
Now, do you have any go-to treatment if you blow out your voice in rehearsal or at a show?
I just did today. I was at When We Were Young this weekend in Vegas, and I blew my voice out. And so I got this stuff from Amazon. It's like a eyedropper. It's called Vocal 43, I think it's called, and it's got like cayenne pepper and honey and all that kind of stuff. So I'll pop that in before shows and after shows to kind of help. But I did not do that because when we were young and screaming for 3 days, and now my voice is kind of shot, so my voice is done. So next week I'll be a lot better. Right now it's not a good show.